What's going on, Angela? Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday.
Is it really happy? Are you happy?
I'm groggy today.
It's been a rough one.
Our dog is sick. She's fine, but she was very symptomatic all night, overnight.
Yep.
So I didn't get much sleep.
It's been a bit of a rough one. What's going on, Foz? Good to see you. Foz is with us.
Hello, Foz.
He is. It immediately brings me his, or I'm saying him, and I don't know that I even
Because
should.
you're thinking of Fozzie Bear?
Because no, I'm not. Oh my God, Fozzie Bear. I went right to the Fonz for some reason.
The Fonz.
It just sounded so cool to me, Foz. So I went right with, right to the Fozzie Bear, or no, Fonz. I was actually thinking about Ron Howard. So
Really?
Yeah, because he came out and said, I don't know if I covered this, but he came out and he said that had the show been called Fonzie's Happy Days, that he wouldn't have done it.
Oh, you said this already.
Did I say this?
Yeah.
Even him. Even good old fucking Opie.
You never know, though, without getting the full quote. He might have just said that as a joke first and then answered the question, you know? You never know.
That's true.
You never know what they print.
Delicate has
Whenever they want.
arrived. Erica has arrived. Lee is here. Yes. I go through these like moments of anxiety where like we come back and nobody's here. They just all were just like, nah, I've had it. His voice gets too rusty and I can't take it no more. Oh my God. Well, I'm very excited about,
Fazio wants to know, Dale, do you know Ryan or Blake?
I don't know them, no. I met Ryan a couple of times briefly, but I've never met Blake Lively. I was before her time.
What was the context of you meeting Ryan Reynolds briefly?
My ex represented Rich Riccolo, who was Ryan's co-star on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Oh, that was like way long
Way
time
back.
ago.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Super pink behind the ears. That was like in the fucking 90s, I guess.
Like
I don't even know.
95 or 6 or something?
No, not that far back, but close, like 98, 99.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ancient history.
He was not like the icon he is today.
You don't think he'd recognize you?
Lee is asking if I saw that Leo said that he feels like he's 32 years old. So that's why he's only 10 years older in his mind than these other women.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny that he said that he feels like that Leo said he feels like he's 32 years old, and he didn't choose like a more appropriate age that would make sense for why he won't date a woman over 25.
I feel like I'm 25.
He could have just said, I feel like I'm 25.
I feel like I'm in my 20s.
I feel like I'm in my 20s, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, super weird.
Well, good for him, man. I'm glad he feels like he's in his 30s, man. You know, hey, listen, you know what? If you've had the kind of life he's had, you might feel like you're in your 30s too. You might feel like you're in your 30s all the way. He felt like he was in his 20s for decades. So, you know, he's going to be in his 30s until death. I'm going with death. He's going to be like, you know, Leo's 66th birthday. How old do you feel, Leo? Oh, 31, 32.
Is it like a Peter Pan syndrome, or do you think that this is like really common with people just in general, that they don't feel their age?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I think that's the exact. Yeah. I remember this guy I knew and I loved, Pat. He was 87 years old. He passed a few years back. Very good friend of mine. And I used to speak about his conquerings as a man who's lived such a full life. And I, I asked him like how he felt all the time. But I remember the first time I was like, how's it feel to be like in your, to be this old? Because I'm just, we're all headed in that direction. I believe they're, getting old is a privilege like you do. And so I've always in my whole life been amazed since I was a young boy. I've just been absolutely wrapped by elderly people because I'm like, what have you seen? Did you see the Beatles? Did you see Elvis? Like, what have you done? Like, tell me everything. And anyway, I asked him about, how he felt, just how does it feel to be old? And he was like, dude, he's like, I've never felt older than 40 years old, ever.
40?
40. It's like, I've never felt old. Now, I've been confronted with the reality of how old I am.
Right.
Whether it's the mirror or just like going on walks. But like, how do I feel? I feel like I'm in my 40s. I feel like not a day has passed since I was 40, which is kind of almost frightening.
That's interesting.
Because it's like then you're, I don't know, it's kind of frightening. It scares me a wee bit.
In like mythology, astrology, archetypal, analysis, whatever.
Yeah.
They say that Saturn like represents father time,
Yeah. I'm Saturn ruled.
like Kronos, the god.
Sure.
And they say that it's like if you embody the father time aspect, your life will really feel like it begins after the age of 36. So I wonder if he felt like he was 40 because that's when he really got like the hang of things, And
Maybe.
because he reached such an old age, maybe he was a very like Saturnian.
He was
person.
like a really studly kind of guy, the kind of guy who like sat on his porch with his shirt open kind of guy while the girls walked to the beach kind of guy. So I think like at 40, I think he was feeling prime. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's knowing what I know of Pat. I think he was just
maybe those were just like his golden years. So that's why he stayed there.
My ex who, Pat was dating my ex's grandmother. And so my ex used to tell me.
Adorable.
So, yeah. So my ex used to tell me about how he'd be like just stretched out on just like shirt open. She's like, this guy thinks he's so hot. And it's true, man. Like talking with Pat, absolutely Pat was like, I'm the shit.
He still had like his 40-year-old swagger.
Swagger. Straight swagger.
That's great.
He was like, he was probably in his own mind pitying all the young women who couldn't possibly, spend any time with him because of their age. The gap, just too much to bear.
Yeah.
Pity them. He wasn't though arrogant. He was just somebody who like, I don't know, I think he felt sexy.
No, I mean, I think that's like, if you don't have an issue with aging, which is foolish because obviously that's where we're all going to go.
It's so weird to be around so many people who mistreat the elderly, who speak poorly of getting old. I've been like, I'm only in my 50s and people are treating me like differently. And it's disturbing. It's sad, but I don't give a fuck because they're not the reward. You know what I mean? Like the reward of getting old is the experience, the wisdom, the reflection, the ability to look back. Like I go all the way back to Carter, in terms of actual memory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you don't have a problem with being old, then I feel like you really have the opportunity to like blossom into your prime,
Yeah.
Like it's interesting when you see that old people are like, I figured it out finally after all these years. I just don't give a shit. And they're super happy.
Yeah. Well, not to change the subject, but I've had a bit of a weird and kind of neat day because Angela took me on a double feature. It was actually kind of a triple feature. And we did like, all these shark movies and Godzilla, and it was a good time.
Oh yeah. I just had like an itch for cheesy action movies.
Yeah.
And I dragged Dale through it with me.
I had a good time. But then I wanted Angela, for my double feature, I wanted Angela to see some of the movies that influenced me most when I was a kid. And there's many more, obviously, but these two movies this weekend were movies that greatly influenced me as a story. Now, I don't know about so much as a storyteller, but as a story lover, for sure. Is probably these two movies, among others, but these two movies that really, I think, made me fall in love with the beauty and nuance of writing. Like I thought that, Officer and a Gentleman handled nuance better than most movies its age, or in its time. So I asked Angela to indulge me in a couple movies. We watched Officer and a Gentleman, and we watched Taps, which was Tom Cruise's really his debut. I mean, he was in Endless Love for a minute, but it was Taps that really like launched the kid, as they would call him back in the day. So we watched Taps, and here's the weirdest thing. So when I saw Taps in 1980, whatever it was, I was a very young kid, and I was greatly affected by it. Like, I mean, it fucked me up for a while.
Oh yeah, that's a really intense movie.
I sat on that shit for a while. Like, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
I loved some of it, of course, but there was it was Charlie. It was Charlie that really fucked me up.
Dude, if they made that movie now, it would be so like saccharine. They'd be so different.
Yeah, it would be. But I remember the way I felt like very, very distinctly. Like all the different feelings, and there was it was a lot of like melancholy. It was deep melancholy. Back in the 80s.
Okay.
And I got it again. I got the exact same melancholy. Like it's so weird because it's hard to describe, but it's as if melancholy has like specific recipes, or just flavors. Because this melancholy that I have felt all day long after watching Taps again it's almost like I know it's not deja vu. It doesn't actually feel like deja vu, but the feeling is so distinctly exact as it was in 1983 or whatever it was that I saw this movie.
Yeah, but you're the same person, so it would.
Why? I'm a totally different human being. I knew the movie. I knew.
Apparently not.
Of course I am. Of course. I mean, I'm not a human being, a different human being, obviously in terms of the literal sense, but as far as the Dale Wheatley, the man, I mean, compared to Dale Wheatley, the boy who watched this, I'm fascinated by this. This is completely unexpected, and it's the first time that's ever happened.
I love it. I think that's so great. It's always such a achievement, when you select a movie and it actually does what you want it to do, which is to take you on an experience, and make you feel emotionally different than the way you started. Like that's such a treasure when you discover that.
So you get to, and by the way, I've been thinking a lot about so we get people who come in here, and they kind of fuck with our shit, They jump in on our chat and then they impersonate, our friends. Do you remember it happening, Stefan, recently?
Yeah.
It's really been bothering me. And then there's also this thing where you're supposed to, if you have a channel, you're supposed to identify with the people with whom you're close, like the community side.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about
I feel that way.
I was just thinking about the people who hang out with us, and I think they're the real ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was just thinking about Stefan the other day, and I think I hit him up in a DM, and I was like, yo, was that you? Were you there? And he was like, yeah, it was me. It was the real one. And I was like, oh, they're the real ones, bro. So anyway, I'm gonna call these guys the real ones from now on.
That's great.
And if we end up actually getting a situation where we can whatever, I don't know what to call it, title them, right?
Oh yeah, I think that if you reach the milestone that allows you to have memberships, then you could probably gift memberships to people.
Well, that's going to happen.
And then you'd be able to tier people, you could label and categorize.
I don't care if I have to pay for their memberships; they're going to all be in the memberships for free, for sure.
Absolutely. That'll be fun.
Tanner said that he thinks he's going to find the long walk on his way down to Chicago, or go to the city and get. Oh, I love it. Just get it. That's great. So he's going to power read it before that, because it's a fast read.
I know.
You can rip through that. It's faster than my book, bro.
It's a fast read.
How many pages is that? Do you want the first paragraph?
Of the long walk?
Yeah, this is what we do. In mine and Angela's life, we always have
we go to book sales and stuff.
We go to book sales.
Sometimes we'll just buy books.
And we just read the first chapter to each other. So I'm going to read it to you right now. This is Stephen King, The Long Walk, first chapter. This is for Tanner. Chapter 1, a quote by Groucho Marx. Say the secret word and win $100. George. Who are our first contestants? George. Are you there, George? Groucho Marx. You bet your life. An old blue Ford pulled into the guarded parking lot that morning, looking like a small, tired dog after a hard run. One of the guards, an expressionless young man in a khaki uniform and a Sam Brown belt, asked to see the blue plastic ID card. The boy in the back seat handed it to his mother. His mother handed it to the guard. The guard took it to the computer terminal that looked strange and out of place in the rural stillness. The computer terminal ate the card and flashed this on its screen. Garrity Raymond Davis, RD1, Pownell, Maine. Adronostican, I don't know where that is, County. ID number 4980189. Okay.
That's it?
And so
That's
it
the
begins.
First paragraph?
That's the first paragraph of a long walk by Stephen King, the great author, probably the greatest horror author of all time, I suppose.
You can file it.
File it under Stephen King, I suppose. Anyway, the real ones. Fun. We got the real ones here.
The chat's been very busy. Should we catch up?
Yes, let's do it. It's good to see everybody.
Erica wants to know, I missed Friday. Did I miss anything?
Oh, it was kind of a nightmare, wasn't it?
Yes, but we went through all of the exhibits.
Oh, we did go through all the exhibits, which was kind of like, it's probably got some valleys in there. Wouldn't you say, going through all the
Oh, yeah.
exhibits?
Well, people can rewatch it, right?
Yeah, it's all there. Oh, I think so. I don't know. I accidentally deleted one of the lives.
And you don't know which one?
I don't know.
Okay,
It's not I don't know which one's which in terms of, I got to do a better job at like creating logs and stuff. Yeah, I was like going through, because we had all these blackouts. So we had all these little lives that were like 1 minute, 2 minute long or whatever.
Oh, yeah, from Storms.
So I clicked on them to like delete them because they're muddying up the live replays. And I clicked delete and I just clicked OK, not seeing that a full episode had also been selected by mistake.
Bummer. Don't do that again. Fazia is saying, every content creator, whether PR person, lawyer, they're so certain that Justin Baldoni is guilty or innocent. There's a PR person, Molly McPherson, who says that there is a lot that she knows about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively from behind the scenes. She is so sure that they're behind everything. That Ryan is controlling and Blake is a victim based on his previous relationships with Alanis.
Last Morissette?
Yeah.
I guess he ought to know.
And Not Actually Golden was so certain that Ferrer's lawyer is nuts because he spelled Wayfarer incorrectly throughout the document. He also said that Wayfarer has the right to control. No, he did not say that.
Wait, I don't know what you're saying.
To control Ferrer with regards to the indemnity thing. Well, let's just get into it.
Yeah. Let's get into it. As far as people knowing what's up, everybody has the same evidence. We all have the same evidence. It's just whether or not you've read it and I guess your interpretation of it.
I always feel really skeptical. You mentioned that there's a content creator out there. Oh, Molly McPherson is a PR person and knows and has an opinion about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. I totally believe that if you have an opinion about knowing these people personally, it does not change the facts about whether she was harassed on set and then retaliated against.
Of course not.
Like, it could be that she is like a total diva, really difficult to work with, makes everybody's life miserable in the workplace. And she still very easily could be harassed and then retaliated against. And I just feel like it's irrelevant. Anytime anybody, especially a PR person, this PR person knows what they're doing. So especially, but if anybody is trying to convince you to not side with her because of some personal judgment of her, then that's like the lowest effort manipulation, persuasion that people can do. It's called ad hominem. You're neglecting to engage with a person's argument in a civil litigation by discrediting the person themselves, as opposed to
as a scapegoat, right? Not as as a part of any kind of factual.
It's just like an attempt to discredit. It's like it doesn't make her. She's not telling the wrong story because she's a bitch to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she's not a liar because she was like rude to some employee someplace. Like, it really has nothing to do with it. And if somebody, especially a PR person, if they're standing there trying to convince you that it matters, they are manipulating you, and you should really avoid what they're saying.
Well, let me add to that.
This person knows what they're doing.
Let me add to that because a couple things. Let's pretend that Blake Lively was really aggressive and she really wanted to insert herself into the creative process to gain authorship, as she likes to put it, right? Let's just go ahead with the idea that she can do that, or that she did that. Pardon me. She wouldn't be the first in Hollywood to do it. It's something that happens all the time because, like any other job, people get into a job and then they want to move up in that job. And she's no different. She's going to do the same exact thing if she has ambition.
People recommend that people do it.
Of course. But in this case, let's just say she's too aggressive, right? I personally think she shouldn't have been let in to the cut when she was. I thought it was way too early. So there's a good example of her definitely being aggressive, in my opinion, and trying to get in early. And, getting in early, can really strip Justin of his opportunity to, put his authorship on it in in the director's seat.
But that was Heath's responsibility to
I don't want to get
protect
down
him, right?
that. I don't want to go down that road right now, because right now where I'm going is they still have to acquiesce to her. First of all, she can't just take it. It's not a thing that she can actually take. They have to acquiesce to her in order for her to get it. And if they indeed, and they of course did. We know this. The evidence is very clear. They gave her what she asked for.
Permission, and then they granted it.
And they did it reluctantly. They did it begrudgingly, but she didn't know that. They didn't say to her, you know what? You're a real fucking pain in the ass, okay, man? All right, I don't even like you.
You're putting us in a really tough spot. This is this is a hard bargain, whatever.
No, they might have said, hey, maybe it's too early, or done whatever, or said whatever.
I thought she made a really good point when they were like, initially they tried to like, rebuff her effort. I don't know, that's such a stupid word. They tried to deny her permission to access the dailies, get into the editing, whatever. And she was like, well, she was an executive producer on the first day that she showed up to work, right? Like from the very beginning, she was an executive producer. And so she asked them, she was like, are any of the other producers or executive producers prohibited from seeing these dailies, or is it just me? And I just thought that was really smart, because
it's perfect.
I mean, why should she be the only one who's
seeing
excluded?
the dailies and being in the editing room are two different things entirely.
That's true.
So seeing the dailies aren't really that big of a deal. I don't know why they would care about giving her the dailies. The dailies don't give her anything except the dailies. If you don't know what dailies are, they're just the shoot. It's just the shoot. It's just what you see. You get to
I have
watch
a theory about this.
each take, and that's about it. And then usually, first of all, there's a script supervisor present. When a script supervisor is working on a screen, or in a movie, she or he will take specific notes to which takes are the ones that are printed. So whenever Baldoni or anybody else said, hey, that's a print, or that's my second favorite, or that's my favorite, then the script supervisor, they would make a note of that. And so they already know the circle takes. They're called circle takes. So they already know what the circle takes are, going in. All they have to do is get the script supervisor notes for that. So she can look at the dailies, and she can look at the circle takes. She can opine on them and even send that opinion on. And that wouldn't necessarily be anything, that I would consider intrusive on the director's early process, their first 6 weeks, as allotted by the DGA.
Offering notes, right? It's not a big deal.
But the point I'm trying to make here is that it doesn't matter if you want to create a scenario where, first of all, Ryan Reynolds is controlling. I mean, so the fuck what? He apparently is very good at it. Like, it's so funny how people call Ryan Reynolds controlling as opposed to him being enterprising or him being a leader. Do you know what I mean? Like, is he a leader? Is that what we're doing here? Is he a fucking leader? He's buying up companies, and they're succeeding through the roof, and he's leading these companies. But they want to look at him in a bad way. They want to make Ryan Reynolds a bad guy, so they'll call him controlling, as opposed to the boss. Yeah. The fucking boss. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you walk up to your boss and go, you're so fucking controlling. Do you know what I mean?
Of their business?
You know what they say? Sit down, get to fucking work. Yeah, he's controlling. He's the boss, right? So it's just weird. It's like when you think about the perspective that people have, it's a perspective that's leaning towards something that they want. They want to feel this way about a guy who's clearly killing it in life. Justin Baldoni is not working in Hollywood right now. Ryan Reynolds is, and he's fucking killing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and yet they want to make maybe the bad guy got cast out. Oh, I'm just saying, maybe the bad guy got cast out. Maybe the bad guy got extinguished here.
It's always worth reminding people too, is after Me Too, we all agreed. Everybody unanimously agreed that when somebody sees misconduct in a workplace, they're supposed to speak up about it.
Come on, we're at a different time now.
I don't know why all of a sudden she's supposed to be a bad person for doing exactly that.
It's these people and the way they want to think live retroactively. I remember this dude I used to hang out with for a minute because I was helping him. He's a writer, and he would talk about, people being too PC, overly PC, oversensitive, fuck, blah, blah, blah. It's just like the times have changed. You adjust to those times, to the changing times. You adjust to the sensitivities of the world as they've changed. It's okay to learn that what you used to say was wrong and to change it.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? I stood on a stage as a stand-up comic in 1988, and I'm 100% certain that I had to have at least a score of jokes that would never not only not fly in today, but would probably make me look really bad. Do you know what I mean? Because life was a different fucking environment, and we were conditioned to be different in that environment. You know, if you go and you look at the history of the way in which white people refer to minorities, and you go through history and the words they use specifically to describe them, and notice how they changed as the sensitivity became more, as we became more aware of the insensitivity of white people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? And you don't go back to those. Anyway, I guess I'm rambling on about something, but you know, it just drives me a little crazy that people can't live in the now and understand that things have changed and times have changed, and that's including on the set. You get on a set and it's not the same old set. It's not officer and a gentleman. And by the way, Deborah Winger said that she felt objectified during that shoot. If you watch the movie, it's so male gaze, it's ridiculous. The women are so written by men, it's ridiculous.
I was so amazed too, because it's rare to see such a huge like studio drama have such explicit sex scenes.
Yeah, they were explicit for sure.
If you like explicit sex scenes, you should watch that movie.
Well, it's a great movie. Let's not say that's the reason to see it.
No, of course not. But what I'm saying is it was just like really unique.
Simmer down.
And so it's kind of messed up to read that later she felt like she was really mistreated. And, you know, obviously this was before intimacy coordinators existed.
That's what I'm saying, right? So she felt that. And by the way, they also spoke about their relationship off camera or off scene, actually, still on set.
Deborah Winger and Richard Gere
did not like each other. They did not like each other.
And they had to like smush faces the whole time.
She said he was like a block of ice or something similar to that. Yeah. And they were like, it just shows you how talented they are, dude.
Yeah.
These people didn't like each other and they fucking burned it up on that screen. Even if Richard Gere is the weirdest kisser I think I've ever seen on camera. He pushes his face in and he scrunches his lips, which are sort of puckered and soft, but they kind of go smashing.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like almost like a goldfish eating at the top of the bowl, you know, like
the gaping.
You're
right. It's so weird.
It's like a guppy or something. They just
stop it, guppy.
Guppy kissing. He's like a guppy kisser.
I have been listening to the audiobook of It Ends With Us because I want to know what everybody keeps saying like, no, Justin Baldoni's behaving just like his character. I'm like, okay, let's see what it's like. And that's Len, like I shit you not. That's how Colleen Hoover describes kissing. It's just like how you said that Richard Gere kisses Deborah Winger and an officer
pressing
and a gentleman.
their lips together.
They always just press their lips on each other. And I'm trying to picture it. I'm like, so not a kiss, but pressing lips? Like, because if it was a kiss, the writer would just say it's a kiss.
I think I'm just going to write them as smashing. They smash their lips together in my books.
Oh, man. Dale and I had to have these conversations when he was writing his Too Real memoir.
Why?
Because you would come up with really clever, very inventive ways of describing like regular actions, regular behaviors.
Yeah.
And I kept having to tell you, like, in my opinion, if you come up with a really clever way to say something that people normally just describe in this one very common way, people are going to think that it's not the thing that we are normally describing, and it's instead this more elaborate thing that you're describing.
Yeah, it can draw attention to it.
So if you're saying that your character is kissed, you know, like Colleen Hoover's characters do constantly, but she's describing it differently and she never uses the word kiss. I mean, not never, but very often she uses different descriptions. I'm like, okay, so not a kiss, something weirder.
Oh, Foz is in the UK. They're going to get my book. That's so fucking awesome. Thank you. I'm very excited to hear that.
That's awesome. I hope you love it.
I hope you love it too.
I hope you enjoy every page.
It's fun. Oh, well, I guess I have to give Foz the first paragraph.
Of your book?
Yeah. I don't have to do it this minute.
The first paragraph of your book is long.
It's not that long. Is it? Mm-hmm. I don't remember. It's been a while.
That was we bickered about it because I didn't want it to be so long.
No, that's the preface. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you win because it's your book, but
it's not that long.
I remember.
We're scrapping it.
Okay, do you want to talk about... Oh, are you going to read?
No, I'll do that in a minute.
We want to talk about Isabel Ferrer has been dragged into the controversy.
Yes, she has. I mean, and I think it was bound to happen because there's a very, when you talk about SH and, a lot of people don't I don't think a lot of people are recognize that SH doesn't have to happen to you, that you can witness it, and then it's an offense to you. You can witness it in the workplace.
Yeah.
So or hear about it, it can be any number of reasons why it becomes a moment of an SH moment, or a moment where you would file a complaint and say inappropriate behavior is making me feel uncomfortable and unsafe in the workplace, right? So in this case, it would have been Baldoni's behavior with Isabel and this whole virginity scene that I guess that he did some rewriting on this, or he did some like.
Well, so we don't know the whole story, okay? Because here's the thing. So Blake Lively has not mentioned Isabel in her documents. The court probably knows the identity of the people who made HR
She said
complaints.
young Lily, though, didn't she?
In her rider, she wanted control of young Lily's.
In the 17-point thing.
In the 17-point thing, she wanted
was.
to have editorial control over what scenes of young Lily's were shown, edited into the film. Okay,
Yes.
But so she hasn't explicitly said that there was any specific allegation about young Lily and about Isabel. There's a lot of people were assuming, because there was apparently HR documents that leaked that were really explicit, and of course it could have only been based on the description of what the actor was going through. That's like the only person playing that role is Isabel Ferrer, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people just made
Two and two together. They put
made that assumption.
Right.
But those aren't verified to us as real documents. We don't know where those came from. Okay?
Yeah.
So as far as Blake Lively is concerned, she has information that she's provided to the court, but publicly she has not named Isabel herself in her documents, other than that 17-point. So she's not making any allegations.
So the only person who named her was Justin Baldoni when he filed his motion?
Yes.
Or was it before that?
No, it was when not his motion. When Justin Baldoni filed his lawsuit against Blake Lively, he used as Isabel's messages to him, I guess proactively, because he apparently knows that there's some problem involving Isabel. Like we all suspect, but Blake Lively hasn't straight up told us. But he used her messages in order to support his, as a character testimony of him, because Isabel is sending him messages, saying basically like this. She's speaking very much like an actor would to the director producer of her very first big gig. Right?
Yeah.
Where she's like, thank you so much for this opportunity. You've made me feel wonderful, and I couldn't thank you enough. And so he included that in his lawsuit against Blake Lively, which has since been dismissed. But because the exhibit of the timeline that Baldoni created is still evidence in litigation, like that wasn't thrown out of court.
Yeah.
Blake Lively has subpoenaed Isabel for the contacts that she had with Justin Baldoni, just to verify that what he's saying is true, because you can't just take like the opposing party for their word. You always have to like get corroborating evidence of what they're claiming. Okay.
Yes, of course.
So she subpoenaed Isabel, and Isabel responded and gave Blake Lively that stuff. So all of the discovery that belongs to Isabel has already been obtained by the litigants. If Justin Baldoni wants to see that, he can file a motion to compel or request or whatever from Blake Lively, because she has received that. What he's not supposed to do is pester a third party to give him that information instead, right?
Oh, I think I misunderstood this, but okay, cool.
So what's been happening is that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties have been, they subpoenaed Isabel themselves. And she has not been responding to the subpoena, because she's like, I already did this. You guys already have all my information. If you want it, you can get it from Blake Lively, because that's how this works. Also, if you want me to engage with you in this lawsuit, you're going to have to pay all my attorney's fees. And this is what's been really contentious today in all of these filings back and forth. So Isabel apparently signed on to work on the It Ends With Us project under an indemnification agreement. So if she's ever drawn into any sort of lawsuit or any sort of conflict or anything, there's like provisions that they would have to go to arbitration, right? She wouldn't be suing them, or they wouldn't be suing her. Usually that's the case. I don't know if it is specifically with her, because we haven't actually seen that agreement. They're not producing that either. But but one thing is that Baldoni's company does have to pay for all of her attorney's fees. So she's like, okay, well, you're trying to drag me into this, but like you're gonna have to pony up if you want me to be involved in any of this litigation with you.
Yeah, I wonder if there's an actual indemnity clause in her thing. I'd love to read that. I mean, obviously,
I know. It's interesting.
I'd love to know what it is.
So now the debate between Baldoni's camp and Isabel's camp is that they are saying, yes, there's an indemnity clause. What that means is that you have to use one of our attorneys, because if we're paying for your attorneys, it's got to be one of our attorneys. You can't just like rack up bills with anybody. It's got to be one of ours. And apparently that's kind of normal in this. Like if they're like, that might be,
we'll pay your legal fees because we'll have this lawyer file all your documents.
Because it ends with us, corporation is paying for your legal fees and we're all these are our attorneys.
Look,
so.
if you're on the same side or if you're allying with the individuals, then it does make sense to do that. But if you're not somebody, and that doesn't mean that they don't pay for it.
That's the thing.
No, that doesn't mean that at all.
So it's really tricky. And so,
unless it's specified within their agreement.
So asking her to just like use their own attorneys, which might be why there's so many people represented by Wayfarer attorneys. It might be because this has been going on for a long time. You know how they've got like this huge umbrella with all these different people underneath
It's ridiculous.
I know.
I mean, he's just this guy.
I know. He's just charging money.
He's just making a tree of money out of it all.
But the conflict is that Wayfarer was trying to give her an ultimatum saying, yes, we'll pay for your attorney, even though they already agreed to. So that shouldn't even be up for debate.
Yeah.
But we are going to decide what discovery you turn over and what you won't.
Right.
And that is not legal. They're not allowed to do that at all.
No, of course not.
They
can't control discovery.
Yeah, they are not allowed to control what she produces in a subpoena.
She is compelled to produce everything that the subpoena stipulates.
And so that's the problem. And so so her attorney just like, flamed them in this court filing today, Isabel Ferrer's attorney.
Right, saying they'll sue if we have to.
We've already been talking about this. If you're going to continue to delay and badger my client like this, then we're going to sue you because this is obviously not part of the agreement, and you don't need anything else from my client. And right now she's being harassed. And then they also they proposed a bunch of exhibits, or they submitted a bunch of exhibits that are the press that we know that Baldoni's publicists are working with, putting out articles that are attacking her. Oh, and also in their filing, they didn't redact her address. There's 2 addresses.
They doxed her.
Yeah, well, and apparently she doesn't even live at those places anymore, so some fucking strangers are getting doxed. But she's getting like private messages being sent to her by these rabid Baldoni fans that are like badgering her and shit. And so she's like, you guys, she's not supposed to get dragged into any of this. She's not a party in the lawsuit. She's like trying to avoid it. And he named her. So she's basically like, you're responsible. You're the one who brought me into this shit. I didn't do anything.
Exactly. I mean, I'd feel exactly like that. Listen, dude, I did my job. I got paid. I'm trying to move up in life.
She was on set for 4 days. She doesn't want to continue to be
and
attached to these people.
It's like her first job.
I know.
And like, she's, fuck, what a mess for her in terms of like your first job, and it turns into this absolute like farce. I hope that
if he hadn't sued her, she wouldn't have any obligations whatsoever. Aside from if she is the person involved in that HR complaint, that would have been her own involvement. And maybe during the trial, she would be asked to testify. Maybe she would be.
She would have.
Maybe she would have to be deposed. I don't know. She's like a non-party, so I don't know.
That's non-parties get deposed?
Yes, I know. But what I'm saying is if Baldoni hadn't done that like fake PR lawsuit and like and used her words without her permission, her letter that she sent to him, like he didn't ask her permission to use that, to give a character testimonial,
Yeah, I wonder what was the context? How did he use it?
Let me just find it real quick. I have his.
It was in a filing?
Yes, no, it was in his lawsuit. He included that.
And he didn't redact her name or anything.
No, because they're saying that that all the actors didn't want to walk with him, and his whole allegation, he spun it that Blake Lively was controlling everybody, and that they didn't actually feel bad about him, and that they just were trying to side with Blake because it's easier because she's like such a
I wonder why people think
megalomaniac.
I wonder why people think somebody like Blake Lively can take over all of Hollywood. Like it's so funny. Like they have these people who like absolutely loathe her, and I don't need to debate whether or not she's a loathsome character, because none of that matters. But I do wonder why they think she's capable of controlling so much power Like she's just not all that.
I know.
It's just not like people are powerful, but they're powerful in their bubble. Like Ryan Reynolds only has so much reach in terms of actual star-to-star power. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, he and any star can trample on little guys, as Leo was able to trample on me. But in terms of like, Ryan Reynolds going up against anything formidable, do you know what I mean? That's not. He doesn't.
Right, like
Sony. He doesn't own Hollywood, and Blake Lively doesn't run Hollywood. They don't run 104-year-old movie studios that are Japanese based and are massive giant corporations run by oligarchs.
She's trying to become a producer for the first time. So
she's a fucking employee.
why are they going to listen to her?
They make stars. They don't get made by stars.
That's right.
They fucking make the stars. They decide in the end what actually happens. And the thing about studios and just really powerful people in general is that they will make you feel as though you have the power. And this is where I think there might have been a bit of, I think this might have been there might have been
that with Justin Baldoni?
There might have been some intoxication over on the Wayfarer side in terms of all the things they had. They had a #1 hit book. They had a big giant A-list movie star. They had a billionaire backing them. They had 3 success stories underneath them already. So they were
partnering with Sony.
They were partnering with a massive, massive giant in Hollywood.
And I'm sure in the meetings they were like, "You're going to be a star, kid."
And I don't think that I could be wrong about this, but it wouldn't be. I think it wouldn't be outrageous to think that these guys felt like they had not just a seat at the table, but like, a high chair, like they were big deals.
Not a high chair.
I can say maybe not a high chair.
Throne.
Should have been a high chair.
At the head of the table.
A throne. I can say that I have my experience in Hollywood, right? I've been at the table where the big dudes are. And if you just try to mosey up and elbow in and be like, "Yo, what's up, boss?" and smack them on the back, you're probably not going to do real well. It's there's a hierarchy to it, but there's also like, a bit of like, let's see what you got before you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that just.
You're totally right about that, because that's what Sony in Justin Baldoni's documents, he talks about how when Blake Lively first negotiated to play the role of Lily, she was also trying to negotiate to become a producer. And Sony was like, let's demur on that, but you do get to be an executive producer. And
by the way, I think that is like the most compelling evidence of the demise of Wayfair is the fact that Sony, if you look at that's Sony turning and favoring Blake midway through this thing.
They didn't favor.
Shouldn't call it midway necessarily.
They didn't favor her in the beginning, and then midway through, they're like, "You are a producer. We're gonna use your help."
They were partnered with Wayfair, and that was they acted in in a unified way with them, especially as it related to the producer credit with Blake Lively. So what happened? And a lot of people want to say that she corrupted everything, but that's not how Sony would do business. They're so much smarter than that. They're going to look at the situation. They're going to go, and by the way, their smarts always are pointed at one thing and one thing only, and that's their bottom line. That's all they care about. They care about the profitability of that movie. They care about meeting all the deadlines. There's an entire slew of executives involved in every picture. And underlings, all of whom are held accountable for the delivery of this movie from start to fucking finish. And that's what they want. They want their raises and their bonuses. They want their, corporate accolade, right? These people who are on the way up, all the way to the giants who actually want, a high performance box office. So they're not going to make any decisions to favor Blake Lively. That is not in their consideration. They're not going to do anything to try and harm the relationship or to damage the relationship with her. But as they showed at the very beginning, they're not going to just side with her because she's Blake Lively. They sided with Wayfair. They said she wasn't ready to produce. And then what happened was Wayfair broke down. The production broke down. Minute by minute, day by day, they lost control of their production.
You can see it in the messages between Sony executives and Sony producers with Jamie Heath, where they're asking him for really simple things that he does not know the answer to. And you can see them their responses are a little exasperated.
Jamie Heath letting Blake Lively into the edit too early is a a symptom of losing control.
Yes,
You know,
of course
it's an ingredient to it.
I was really amazed when we learned that the Directors Guild of America mandates that directors are allowed to have how many weeks in the
6, I believe.
6 weeks to make a director's cut.
To complete a director's cut, yeah.
Before any interference.
Well, when you say any interference, let's just clarify that, right? Directors
That's not
get
true, right?
No. Well, it's like this: directors get 6 weeks to complete a cut. Yeah. After 6 weeks, the studio can then say, "Hey, if the cut's not ready for us to see, we're going to bring in other editors. They can make changes." It's not about interference as much as it is, because I think that
Collaboration.
I think it's
true.
easy for people.
Interference is so negative.
I think it's just easy for people to look at directors and say they're the end all to be all, and they're not. There's a whole bunch of creative people involved in making a movie all the way to its release day and its premiere on a big screen, and that includes executives at studios and/or distributors. It includes producers, executive producers. It includes ADs. Sometimes a motherfucking PA will come walk by and say the right thing at the right time and change the fucking the focus of a scene, or maybe even one of the themes.
So my point for bringing up the DGA is that when Jamie Heath is trying to field this question from Blake Lively about whether she wants to get involved in the cut, she wants to be involved in like the editing, some choices, whatever, dailies, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were trying to block her. All that Jamie Heath would have had to do is be like, well, we're not a DGA production, but the Directors Guild does allow directors to do this, so we're just going to follow those rules. Yeah. And that would have staved her off for that 6 weeks. I don't know.
And by the way,
I don't know why you didn't think he had any options there.
By the way, it's standard for signatory films to whatever union to still adhere to the union rules. So sometimes a production might forego being a part of or being SAG or DGA or WGA signatory. They might forego that as producers unless they're already signatory, right? But they'll still observe those rules in order to, really mitigate any risk against themselves for doing shit wrong. Do you know what I mean?
It's just so weird.
Crews, if a crew is I've worked on non-union films where there are, where the crew is basically a union crew.
Yeah.
They have the same expectations, whether it's a union or non-union job, in terms of the way that they're treated. They want their meal breaks. You know what I mean? They want their overtime. They want all these things as normal, even if it's a non-union shoot. So if he'd have turned around and said to her, "Hey, he gets 6 weeks per DGA," it doesn't matter if they're not DGA, she'd get the message. And if she didn't, then she would be really out of control there. Like that would be
something that I'd be like, yeah, that wasn't really that cool.
And you know what drives me crazy about all this is like Blake Lively made mistakes. She made mistakes. That was one of them. She shouldn't have butted in early.
Also it's crazy that Jamie Heath is such a fucking dilettante. Like, why is he the main producer of this film and he doesn't know how to answer Sony's questions? He doesn't know that he can protect his director with the DGA rules. He doesn't know any of the shit. Like, what the fuck is he doing there?
Hey, I don't know if this is the case, but one of the biggest things you can see in a Hollywood production is the guy who thinks he's something that he's not, who tries to act like he's got experience when he doesn't, who's dropping all the company lines and the fucking, industry speak all over the place.
Who doesn't know what a basic HR process is?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, like that's bad enough.
That's so bad. Like,
but we're talking about producing in terms of producing a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about running a company, and those are the differences there. But
as a producer, you'd be like, oh, weird. Okay, we have like an allegation of misconduct. Like, let's take this seriously. Let's learn more. Yeah. Maybe I can ask one of my mentors or whatever about what I'm supposed to do in this situation, and then avoid a fucking lawsuit. Like, it's not small stuff. I pulled up this Justin Baldoni's amended complaint to give everybody context about how Isabel Ferrer was mentioned.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
This is in Justin Baldoni's amended complaint, which has since been dismissed. Page 94, this is paragraph 159. He said, the other cast members also unfollowed Baldoni, creating the false impression that Baldoni had done something wrong. The false impression, Dale.
Well, I mean, it's okay.
On information and belief, Lively induced the other cast members to shun Baldoni in an early attempt to give fans the impression that Baldoni had committed an egregious sin, something so egregious that no one wanted to even take photos with him or have him around. Lively was leaving what she had earlier referred to as crumbs, a social media strategy she had learned from a close celebrity friend, to give fans just enough to allow them to come to their own conclusions, thereby launching an army of detectives that, on information and belief, Lively hoped would turn against Baldoni. The unfollowing.
Can you absolutely believe that this
Nothing is supported.
That is
what
what
are you talking about?
That's all made up.
All of it is made up. There's
Like
no way.
that has
Lively
no basis in
induced
fact.
the other cast members. Like, are you saying they had a conversation and they all like agreed?
What proof do you have of that? Like, what are you offering in actual proof to say that
Well, there's no evidence whatsoever.
Induced anything?
It's like this whole thing is just hyperbolic. There's no evidence whatsoever that she said any of these things they're claiming. They're just claiming it.
Like, it would be fine if he's saying this and being like, dropping a name or two or a quote or two or a complaint or two. None of that is backed by anything.
Okay, let me continue.
Yeah.
The unfollowing of Baldoni by cast members and even the author of the book, who he had a long-standing relationship with, was done without warning or any communication from them, in stark contrast to the warm praise and appreciation cast members had until that point always showered on him. Showered. I bet you guys would love that. For example, Isabella Ferrer, cast as young Lily, exchanged grateful texts with Baldoni during and after her filming stint, which included a number of scenes involving intimacy. And here is the messages that he apparently did not have her permission to include.
Well, I don't know why you think he needed them in a legal document, but go ahead.
You don't think it would be courteous?
Well, you're not saying it as though yes, if you're saying he didn't have the courtesy.
He's in a litigation that involves like a total PR nightmare. You don't think that he should check with her about whether she should be named in it? Having
the courtesy to do it or being obliged to do it are two different things. He wasn't obliged to do that.
Yeah, I don't know that I thought he was. Justin Baldoni said, "You did awesome today. So happy to be working with you." Isabella Ferrer said, "Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Thank you for being a great director and being so wonderful to work with already. Let me know whenever you need me for anything." Justin Baldoni said, "So kind, more to come. You are gonna kill it." And then she loved that. And then she replies, she goes, "Hey, just got my film developed from when we were filming. So here's the sweet pic." She sends him, I can't tell what that is. It looks like she's just taking pictures of trees.
I like taking pictures of trees.
I know. I just can't see any people in it. Okay. I also have to say thank you so much for an incredible experience on my first film. I still can't shake the feeling of it all because it truly was life-changing for me. You are such a wonderful, smart, and sincere director, and you created such a comfortable, safe space for me to feel like I could fully step into this role. I couldn't have asked for a more welcoming environment. It will stay with me the rest of my life. See you soon, whether in the fall or later. Hope you're doing well. And then he said, "Isabella, wow, what a kind message. You were such a joy and pleasure to work with. Your openness, your raw talent, your kindness."
Oh, these people.
"And your excitement made me fall in love with directing again. I'm so excited for your career and for everyone to see you in this film. You have a big career in front of you. Looking forward to seeing you again in September. Even if we don't need you to work, come visit."
I'm never going to do that. Like, I know I have, and I'm just never going to do that anymore. I'm just going to be like, "You're so wonderful. Thank you so much for being a part of my life and my career." And then just get on with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
The narrative in the lawsuit continues. Tellingly, Ferrer worked with Baldoni when Lively was not on set. It was not until Ferrer spent substantial time with Lively during film promotions that Ferrer felt compelled to shun Baldoni in repudiation of her warm words.
Well, yeah, so he dragged her into it. So thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I don't think that that was a nice thing necessarily for him to have to do. By the way, that could have just been summed up. He could have said, one of the cast members, sent wonderful texts, which we will provide,
Yeah.
that completely refute this statement, or this idea. So yeah, I think that dragging her into it was not necessarily a good idea for him to do, especially considering the circumstances around and allegations around her. Because like I said earlier, you don't have to have it happen to you for it to be SH to you from your perspective. So once Blake Lively heard about now I don't know if this is true, and I'm gonna just you guys have to forgive me right now for what I'm about to say, because this is what I heard and I read this. Apparently, he called it like getting her cherry popped. The scene. Apparently, he used the term.
You said that to who?
To her, is what I read. Now,
No way. I
can't verify it.
I don't believe that. I don't think that's true.
You think that's a lie?
No, that would be so foolish. That'd be so.
I'm only bringing it up because I thought that that when I read it, there was some
I
credibility
don't believe
to it.
that he would make that mistake. He's made a lot of mistakes. I don't think he would make that mistake. I don't believe it for a second.
I couldn't believe it when I
Show me the
saw it
text.
because I was like, that's like, first of all, it's a boomer. Fucking.
I mean, there's so much that's unbelievable about this. Like, I mean, like even in that narrative, it's not, you can't sue somebody for other people having a bad opinion of you. You know what I mean? Like if if they all got together and they talked when they're getting ready to promote the film.
Yeah.
And they all are sharing stories about how he was like a big douchebag, or he was actually harassing, or he was actually abusive maybe.
Yeah.
If everybody is deciding that they would feel comfortable with him not around, he can't sue Blake Lively for that unless he wants to show, like,
Not successfully.
people can do defamation and you can't sue them for it unless you can prove what they said, that they were intending to lie, that it was a lie, that they were intending to lie, and that
Well,
they
that
did
they
it with
knew
malice.
that it was a lie when they said
Yeah,
it.
and that it affected you negatively. So I'm like, if you're just saying that she did these things, but you're not providing any evidence that she said a thing that you're alleging is so bad and false, like then it's just hyperbole. Like that doesn't stand up to
Danny's
scrutiny.
saying that Blake included Isabel in her lawsuit first. I thought there was.
Let me look
I thought she didn't mention her by name, but she mentioned her role, which obviously would have been extremely easy to then.
She did mention, like in the 17 points, she is mentioned.
Yeah, that's right. It's mentioned in the
young
17
Lily.
points, so that's probably why we think that.
Let me just search this document.
Angela's having a look. She's looking at the document right now. So, for a second, I just flashed back to like we were on TikTok and you're not on camera. I was like,
So you're telling people?
we started this thing like 6 months ago on TikTok. We've only been like 3 months on here on YouTube.
I have not found any matches for Isabella or Ferrer at all on Blake
Is it
Lively's.
Ferrer or Ferrer?
I don't know.
I'm going with Ferrer.
Ferrer. I want to pronounce it in like the Portuguese way. Like Ferreira is a Portuguese last name, and so I keep wanting to say that it's
Danny's saying Young Lily. So look for Young Lily.
okay, but that's not. See how that's not dragging her into it, though?
Well, not by name, but it is, Angela, because it'd be a little disingenuous saying that
Okay,
we're not going to know who
two
that
mentions.
is.
Check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Paragraph 91. This is the newest amended complaint. Oh, maybe it's not the newest. Maybe it's the one before this New York Jed Wallace stuff. Okay, page 32. Paragraph 91, Mr. Baldoni added a detailed scene to the film in which the underage version of Miss Lively's character, Lily, loses her virginity. In both the book and the script for the film, there are no sex scenes. Instead, the details about this moment were left to the audience's imagination. But Mr. Baldoni added in considerable details, which was particularly concerning to Miss Lively, given Mr. Baldoni's other behavior and directorial choices as detailed in his complaint. Also, that he admitted that he used to have a corn addiction. So she
mentioned her.
Writing.
She dragged her into it.
Okay, but listen.
Yeah.
These additional details included both dialogue between young Lily, that's one mention, and her boyfriend Atlas about the loss of her virginity, as well as a simulated sex scene in which Mr. Baldoni filmed and included in his initial cut of the film a brief close-up of young Lily, that's the second mention, of her face, accompanied by an audible gasp at the moment of penetration. What the fuck?
That's totally.
What the fuck?
You know, it's so funny because
why are you, the guy who used to have a corn addiction, who apparently got over it, trying to put that in your movie?
Well, the problem with it isn't that it's
I'll just
that
finish
he
this
tried
paragraph
to put it in the movie. The problem is that he tried to put it in the movie with her, a young Lily.
Yeah,
that,
she's
that
underage
the
at
scene
this time.
was virginal,
Yeah.
and he wanted to do that to a virginal scene.
That's, but that's not the female gaze either, guys. I just have to be.
That's definitely not the female gaze.
Miss Lively was informed that when the scene was shot after Mr. Baldoni called cut, he walked over to the actors and said, "I know I'm not supposed to say this, but that was hot. And did you two practice this before?" I do believe that he would say something like that.
If those things came out of his mouth, and there are witnesses beyond Miss Lively,
Miss Lively was informed that when this scene was shot after Mr. Baldoni called.
that he said it.
And so here it is. It's like she doesn't name her. There's no
Ferrer.
saying where. Lively doesn't name Isabella, and she's not saying from whom she was informed. That's the sort of thing that a lawyer would ask her. But she is deliberately keeping her name out of her document. And I
Listen,
respect that.
I think that's weak sauce. For me, that's weak sauce. So I'm with Danny on this. She mentioned her first. keeping her name out is.
But here's the thing: she can have this.
We're talking about the media. I mean, that's.
With regards to what he said on set, Blake Lively could have heard that from anybody, any crew member, anybody involved in that scene. Okay. But with regards to what the content of that scene is and the rewrites and what they actually filmed, this audible gasp, she said that was included in the first cut that Baldoni created.
Well, you were making a very good point. So what you're saying is that what Baldoni did was he included her, meaning her actual words, her actual involvement, Ferrer. And whereas Blake Lively said observationally, this happened to an actor on a set.
I saw it in his film. I wasn't there that day, but I saw it. It was in his edit. And I heard from other people, somebody, right?
Yeah, that this occurred.
Miss Lively was informed that he said these horrible, inappropriate things.
Well, you make a good point there. That is a very good point. That is a good point that she's talking about something more observationally, but that doesn't mean that she left her out of it. So back to Danny's point, which I have to agree with, is that she did bring her into it, even if she did so in what would be a more, I don't know how to say it, I think a more responsible way, I guess.
However, it should be noted that this is in a subheading in the lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Where they are telling the story, the heading goes, Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content and or scenes involving nudity into the film, including for an underage character in highly unsettling ways. And so this is from paragraph 85 all the way to paragraph 91. She's describing incidents.
Lively.
Yes.
Yeah, and those are, so again, you know, like,
and so that fits.
She knows, I mean, everybody knows, it's reasonable to expect that the press and so-called influencers and the internet are going to figure out who's who in every paragraph she publishes regarding this lawsuit, right? I mean, that's fair.
What is the matter with him when he says, I know I'm not supposed to say this, and then he just fucking blurts it out?
Well, if he said that, then that's disturbing. You know, it's just, what's disturbing isn't that he thought it, like that's one thing, whatever. It's another thing to say it. It's a whole other thing to feel comfortable enough to introduce that into the conversation. Or that and the idea that his thought would be that they would want to even hear it.
Did you guys practice this before? Fuck you. That's what you get for asking.
If anything,
that kind
he should have been
question.
empathetic to the discomfort. He should have been like, I know that wasn't necessarily easy for you to do.
That's a normal
but you fucking
reaction.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Is that I shouldn't probably put it that way. But you guys really you hit it out of the park.
That's how you'd get in the lawsuit, Dale. It'd be like, and then Mr. Wheatley said he nailed it.
Yeah. Good night. Sleep well, Foz. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, Foz was in the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's late. It's late.
Yeah,
there.
I know. I wish they make me want to start early because we have like a lot of people from the UK for in terms of
it's nice.
Percentage watched. Do you want to get to some of the chat? It burned up a little bit. It's been a minute.
DJ Diabolic.
Yes.
Said, so when someone knows they're trying to be subpoenaed and is hiding from being served, that's considered harassment. I guess that's a question. I don't know if this is a question.
No,
she's hiding from being served because she doesn't believe she should be served since she already, Isabella Ferrer already complied with a subpoena to this lawsuit. So they already have her information. So
she's protesting basically.
When Baldoni is subpoenaing her and he's specifically saying what it seems like she's alleging is that Baldoni is like, I am going to make it so that you have to incur costs because I'm going to put you through some trial of a subpoena. So you've already done a subpoena, so now you have to fight the subpoena in order to, since we're not supposed to serve you with it anyway, since she already did. So he's like, I'm going to put you through some sort of trial of like costs. Like you have to hire a lawyer to fight me about this, and since she has the what is it? The agreement. I said it earlier.
The indemnification.
Yeah, since she has the indemnification agreement in her employee contract, they are obligated. The Wayfarer parties are obligated to pay for her lawyer. So what they're doing, according to her lawyer, what they're alleging is that Baldoni is trying to get her to trying to give her some legal costs so that they have to pay it, so that they can then control what she provides. So if they're like, okay, well, we'll pay your legal costs if you use one of our lawyers, like that's fine, like that's normal. But what they're also trying to do is get the opportunity to control what discoveries she sends over.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
never
they're
going to
not allowed
fly.
to do
That's
that.
never going to fly. And just because they say
That's why she's calling it harassment, because she shouldn't even be subpoenaed in the first place.
Yeah.
Because she was subpoenaed.
I mean, she can call it whatever she wants. What it actually
Already.
is, maybe we don't know. But either way, she's not happy about it. She's a reluctant. She's a reluctant witness, probably to everyone. But
Yeah, of
it's
course.
it's not a good look. You know what I mean? I don't think, anyways. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just did that for my UK friends.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, everybody's been chatting so much. I got to start from the top. Dog is snoring. Lee said, I felt uncomfortable watching the dance scene.
Yeah, we're going to cover that as soon as I'm waiting for this gear to come in. And as soon as it does, we're going to cover it. We're going to do a full, we're going to do like an hour on this live where we're going to break it down. I did a breakdown for it on TikTok months and months ago when it first landed, like the day it landed. And I'm going to redo it, especially since I've, since heard the horny growl, but also some perspective has changed. There's I've learned a lot. So we're excited to do that, but I'm just waiting for this piece of gear to get here so that I can actually do a proper setup of it. But I'm going to break it all the way down. Dr. Susan's here. What's good to see you.
Sweet. Delicate said, we need people to learn the difference between SH and SA quickly so we can avoid these cases.
It sucks, man. I wish people understood it because it's not that difficult. SH is not nearly as major a situation. It can be major. Typically, it's certainly not as major as SA. But more importantly, SH is a subjective event. It's not something, there's no universal rule behind what SH is and what it isn't. Now, the process of filing a complaint and then going through the process of remedying that complaint determines the severity of it or even the veracity of it. Mm. So if HR says, hey, they'll send you a letter saying, thank you for your complaint. We've looked into it and we found no wrongdoing. Like that happens in
right.
HR.
Yeah.
We were unable to verify these things. However, we have made sure and reminded, person X that they are obligated per California law, blah, blah, da, 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 whatever, to be a good person while they're on the fucking set. Do you know what I mean?
Fazia had a question. I know they left, but I think this is interesting.
Yeah.
That's just the texts. What if Baldoni wants other stuff?
Well, that is a good point. I was thinking about that as well, including potentially her testimony. But I don't know. Again, she worked 4 days on the set. She was 4 days on the movie of a 26. Sorry, how many days was it?
I don't know. I should know that by now.
Yeah, it was more than 4.
4 days is a really small amount of time to spend in this workplace.
In that film, of that size,
I think he wants to know what are the private conversations that went on between Isabella and Blake Lively, because they spent a lot of time socializing together.
Yeah, well, so typically how this works, right, is so I subpoena somebody and I get their discovery, and then I'm compelled to, by law, share that discovery. Mm-hmm. So I have to share the discovery with the other party. So I do. And then if they want to have a conversation, if they want to pick up the conversation, then what they'll usually do is they'll subpoena the witness for a deposition, for questioning. And, if they want to get deeper into it. Or, there's obviously things like filing motions to compel if they feel like the witness is holding something back, or they know that the witness is holding something back. And in that situation, there would probably even more incentive to actually get them deposed. So that would really be the next step for her if you wanted to level up Miss Ferrer. It would be to drag her in and have her deposed. Mm-hmm. That would be the next logical step for him, as opposed to, for example, trying to compel more discovery.
Yeah, right.
If he hasn't even received the discovery that Blake Lively has already, gotten. So if she hasn't shared that discovery, she will by the deadline. That's typically how it goes. They don't just throw it at you, piece by piece necessarily. I shouldn't say that's typically how it goes. I wouldn't know, but I know that our lawyers sandbag discovery for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
DJ Diabolic said, I should remind everyone that Blake has provided zero proof to anything thus far. And then Felbombling, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right.
Thanks for the reminder.
Said that is what the court of law is for, DJ. There is a reason she wants to go to court.
Well, I don't know what specifically DJ would be talking about, because I think that she's shown some pretty compelling evidence thus far. You know, I think that the texts between Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel are incredibly damning. And I also think that Justin Baldoni's own texts, things like, for example, you know, because you got to remember, like, it's Justin Baldoni who said that she took over the movie, but by his own texts, he's acquiescing to her requests. Yeah. He's saying, I'm going to give her everything. I'm going to give her 98% of what she wants. Like, that's not, there's no rules being broken there. And if you guys want to, like, penalize her for being persistent, you know what's funny about that? Like, if it was a dude, they just wouldn't be, at most they'd be called annoying.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
But, you know, and I'm not saying that they're obviously hating on Ryan Reynolds, so it's not like they're necessarily just limiting it to dudes.
DJ Diabolic said, I should remind everyone that Blake has provided zero proof to anything thus far. This is like my favorite misconception, because if you just look at one singular piece of evidence, she has provided a bunch, right? It's all like text messages and emails between all of the publicists and Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath and, you know, all the Wayfarer parties conspiring against her, like conspiring to invent negative stories about her. And I don't know if you don't know anything about publicists, but they're not allowed to just go and attack people, regardless of whether their client wants them to. They're only allowed to improve the reputation of their own client. They're not allowed to, like, just make up stories about people.
And by not allowed, you mean that they could be held liable.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're susceptible to being held liable in civil litigation, which is where they are, which is probably why there's so much evidence of them saying, we have to keep this secret. We can't put it in writing. Like, most importantly, untraceable. Like,
they play in some muddy water, man.
Like, they literally say stuff like that in their messages. But Blake Lively has provided zero proof to anything thus far. If you only looked at one piece of evidence, it should be Justin Baldoni's text to his publicist, where he is saying, we need something like this. And what he's doing is sending them a screenshot of a negative article about Hailey Bieber apparently being a bully to women. Yeah. And so Justin Baldoni is showing that to his publicist, saying, we would need something like this on Blake.
And it was days
later. Which is not based on any story that he's bringing her about Blake. He's just saying, hey, I need you guys to drum up something like this, invent something like this, like run something like that. He's just like, so that alone, that one piece, that one text message, which neither side is refuting, is true.
And circumstantially, days later, Kirsty Flaw releases a video that was 6 years old at the time, where she said Blake Lively was being a bully. I mean, I just don't know what more you need. Now, listen, that's circumstantial. That doesn't necessarily prove anything. They'd have to, like, find additional corroborating evidence to make that empirical. But come on, dude.
Let me see.
Like, we're all like normal-minded people. We're all common sense-based creatures. Hello, Lisa Thames or Thames or Tims. I never know how to say that name.
No, me neither.
I think it's Lisa Tims. What's going on, Lisa?
Let me just continue with this.
Yeah.
So I was saying about that text message of Baldoni to his publicist.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. We would need something like this.
Yes.
So Blake Lively's causes of action. Okay, so she is filing a lawsuit because she is alleging SH in violation of some law. Okay, I'm just gonna briefly go over this. So that piece of evidence does not satisfy that. The second cause of action is retaliation in violation of the law. That piece of evidence does satisfy her second cause of action.
Right.
Okay. Her third cause of action is SH in violation of a different law, so that doesn't satisfy that. But the fourth cause of action...
You're being, obviously, like, you're not a jury here, but yeah, understandable. Like, you're saying that, you know...
In my opinion...
Right, okay.
Yeah. The fourth cause of action is retaliation in violation of that labor law. I believe that single text message satisfies that. The fourth cause of... fifth... Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
And there's just so much more, because you got to remember, there's not just Justin Baldoni here. There's, as a defendant.
No. I'm saying that one piece of evidence
I hear you.
against Justin Baldoni, right? That's him sending that message to his publicist. We would need something like this. Fifth cause of action: retaliation and violation of a different law.
It gets worse because you literally have Jennifer Abel saying
we're on it.
He wants to know you can bury her.
Yes.
But
that's not that single piece of evidence. This is what I'm saying. Just that one piece of evidence. It wins her this case. Okay, so the fifth cause of action is retaliation.
Could win her the case. You might want to just throw in a could, since there is a jury that gets involved and they can surprise you.
Yeah, that's true. The fifth cause of action, retaliation and violation of a California labor law. I believe that satisfies it. Sixth cause of action, failure to investigate, prevent, or remedy harassment. Okay, that's going to have to be some different evidence. Seventh cause of action, aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation and violation of the law. Yes. Satisfies that, in my opinion. Eighth cause of action, breach of contract. That is about retaliation. So, yeah, that one too. Ninth cause of action, breach of contract rider agreement. Yes, that violates that too. 10th cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Yep, that one passes. 11th cause of action, negligence and infliction of emotional distress. This is against Wayfarer, Baldoni, and Heath. Yep, I believe that works.
I mean, you're saying all these things, but to me, it's just like, it's a jury that decides that. So it's like you can say all day long that yep, but as a jury decides it, yes, it's good. It's good evidence. I think it's compelling evidence.
14th cause of action is defamation. Okay, I'll stop. There's more, but I made my point, I guess.
Fel Baumling says more on the fly interview. She said Blake was 6 months pregnant in Cannes promoting 2 movies, The Shallows and Cafe Society. After all her responsibilities during that week, no wonder she reacted. But there's actually more to it than that, because apparently Kirsty Flaw was being a total ass. She, Blake Lively, was not wanting to talk about anything to do with her pregnancy. And I don't even know that her pregnancy was actually known at that time, was it?
I think it would be weird if she hadn't announced it because she was wearing fitted clothes and she was showing.
Okay.
But if she said, I don't want to talk about my body. I mean, remember in the context of that Kirsty Flaw interview, this was right at the time where there was that hashtag Ask Her More campaign in Hollywood, where they were trying to get all of these interviewers to quit asking such sexist questions. And so it should be, if Kirsty Flaw is a professional, she would know that this is going on, and that she would know that it's probably not going to land really well if you open up your interview remarking on your on the talent's body that you're interviewing. I'm just saying, like, it's just
ugly.
Like, I think that Blake Lively was probably like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about makeup or fashion or any of the things you only ask women, or about my pregnancy. Like, maybe we're here to promote a movie. Maybe we can just get straight to that instead.
Yeah, and also after watching the interview, I thought Parker Posey was far worse than she was.
I thought so too.
Parker Posey was awful, like god awful.
I know she's kind of typecast as that character too, so I think everybody sort of gives her a pass because it's who she always plays.
Yeah, right. Because she's got that.
But I completely agree. I thought that she was really.
Like it was as if like Blake threw a jab, and then fucking Parker Posey was like, no, roundhouse.
This is what makes me think that maybe before they sat down, before the cameras were rolling, before the edit that we saw, maybe there was some conversation that happened.
They knew what was going to happen.
That really made them bristle up.
It looks like that was the case. Why isn't Kirsty Flaw in the business anymore? Was it because of Blake Lively, or was it because she was sucked at her job? I think it's because she sucked at her job. The interview was garbage. She was garbage in the interview, Kirsty Flaw. Like, I don't know why she even had the job.
I disagree. I don't think that she could have salvaged that interview because they were ganging up on her and being rude. So I think she was just...
Her questions were such garbage.
Oh, her questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just right out of the gate garbage. She brought nothing of substance. She didn't her attempt at making a connection to the talent was stupid. I mean, it was thoughtless. That's a better way to put it. It wasn't stupid. It was thoughtless.
I know it doesn't seem strange to like congratulate a new mother on what's an obvious pregnancy, but like these women don't know each other. Like, this is a workplace function. They're not friends. They're not even acquaintances.
But that's not what she did anyway.
I'm not sure
had she
that
congratulated
it's not weird
her,
to do that.
Sorry to talk over you, but she didn't congratulate her.
Yeah, she said congrats on your little bump.
Oh, she said congrats on your lip. Well, okay, so she congratulated her little bump. This is where I'm going. Like, their emphasis was on her body. Right? The emphasis was on her body.
I mean, everybody knows what that means. What I'm saying is, like, if you're in the checkout line
and
a stranger does that to you, like, are you like, if you're not having a good day, are you going to be any less irritated than Blake Lively was when she's like, here I am on camera, like, Blake Lively doesn't have control over what footage from that interview is being used or not. So she's immediately put on the spot to be like, am I supposed to talk about my family? Am I supposed to talk about my pregnancy? Like, are you putting me on the spot to talk about personal stuff when I'm literally here just to talk about my work? You know, it's a really weird thing to get personal straight away.
I think she's a bad bad interviewer. Kirsty Flaw is a bad interviewer. I think that that foul bombing, I don't know how to say that. I think that they are making a very good point that she also was probably at her wit's end to top it off. Press junkets can grow real old on people real fast. That's for sure.
It must be awful to spend like several months doing a film and then being obligated to like sit for these fucking boring ass interviews constantly.
And try to put on the same thing, being asked the same questions over and over again.
Having to be cheery about it. It must be exhausting.
I think the only thing worse is having to like sing Jack and Diane for your whole career. I think that's the only thing that could be worse, is that you wrote Jack and Diane and it became a hit, and so you had to sing it every night for 40 years. That would be the only thing worse.
But like those interviews, you know, the tedious, horrible interviews they have to do. It's not like they can show up drunk or stoned or something, because then, you know, that's what gets printed.
Right? No. They're
like
also...
they have to just like grin and bear it constantly. Alyssa is asking, did you guys see those documents about Justin's text messages? I cannot believe people are still Team Justin. It is clear as day what he did. You cannot like her as a person, but she is right.
Exactly. You're making the perfect point.
We went over all of those on Friday. We did see those text messages, bro. They're so damning. And it's just so predictable that all of his fans are twisting it. So like, especially the one where he is very clearly brainstorming and inventing an attack on Ryan Reynolds. And he's telling his publicist that he talked to Steve Sarowitz and we came up with this really cool narrative you guys could just like put out there.
So nicely, dude. The brainstorming? Yes. Lying.
No, I know.
Brainstorming lies.
Yes, I know. But what he's doing is he's like, okay, what if we did follow this angle? Steve was saying that we should do this, and I'm saying that we should maybe tell this story about Ryan Reynolds. And it's so clear that there's no basis in fact. Everything that the language he's using, if he actually was referencing anything that actually happened, he would tell them about that, because those are his publicists and those are stories that they should run. But he doesn't, because it doesn't exist. He's literally just making shit up. But of course, everybody who is on his side, he can't ever lie. He can't ever tell a lie. And so they're saying that he is explaining the deceit and the masterminded plan of Ryan Reynolds when he's talking about him being like taking over the writing job because the feminist writer wasn't good enough.
It's ridiculous.
Like some bullshit like that. Oh, and that he was
bombing.
And that he was a scab. Did he cross the picket lines?
Who?
Justin Baldoni was trying to get his publicist to run a story that Ryan Reynolds was a scab for writing on his movie. And here's the thing. I have so many strong feelings about this.
It's so gnarly.
Because Ryan Reynolds was helping helping improve a script that would only benefit Justin Baldoni. Ryan Reynolds didn't have anything to benefit from that work.
That's not true. You keep saying that, but Blake Lively is in the movie.
He wasn't credited, and he's not...
But his wife is in the movie.
No. What I'm saying is, if he's like this big controlling person who wants to, take control of everything.
I agree. I disagree with you. I believe he had an incentive and that he benefited. But I understand that you're saying that he didn't benefit directly, and that is true. But if something like if something I'm going to do is going to benefit you, that is to my benefit, like completely. I would look at.
I'm talking about more tangible benefits. Like Justin Baldoni would make more money, presumably, if he has a better script to work with. Because it's his film and he owns it and he's going to get the profits.
I think you're correct in saying that everything that anybody was doing to help that movie was helping him.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's, Ryan Reynolds rewriting the rooftop scene, or it's a PA picking up cigarette butts. They're all helping the thing go better for them, for sure.
And then Justin Baldoni is trying to get his publicist to run a story about calling Ryan Reynolds a scab, like he was crossing the picket line because he was participating in this writing during a strike.
Yeah.
When in Justin Baldoni's own narrative, he talks about how frustrated he is with Blake Lively for refusing to cross a picket line when they wanted to film a scene. And Blake Lively was like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I can't do that.
They just want their cake and eat it too.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
It's total projection.
Yeah.
What's amazing is that all these Justin Baldoni fans are like, yeah, we hate scabs, but like his own narrative tells a story about how he wanted to be one.
Yeah, and by the way, the WGA just recently expelled a bunch of writers from the guild who worked during the strike.
Yep.
And not one of them was named Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds was not expelled by the WGA.
That's pretty savage that they expelled people. Big names too.
That's the rules. I mean, look, we shot non-union Don's Plum.
Yeah.
We didn't get a SAG contract, and SAG was mad. In fact, if Leonardo DiCaprio was not in that movie, then we would have probably really fucked up our friends on that. And I didn't know. I didn't realize that we were causing that kind of trouble. You know, it wasn't even my decision. But we didn't.
It's hard to get union signatory, right?
The problem is not so much the difficulty; it's the expense.
Oh, it's expensive?
So expensive. God.
What, just in your film, and I know this because I read the depositions in the lawsuit about Don's Plum, but you guys were doing, you were paying everybody the union minimums anyway.
Right.
So why was it more expensive? If you were union, you were already paying union rates.
Well, because there are different other payments that get involved. Like, for example, like we have to pay into all the union benefits. Like, and we just like, and that can be like tens of thousands of dollars that we just can't afford.
Wow.
So we don't pay into, so.
I didn't know that. I thought that the union benefits came from the union dues.
Well, it's no. It's other, like it's incorporated in like the way in payroll, like there's certain money set aside, and I don't really know it all because it's, our line producers who get right into it. But it was like, I'll give you an example on the faith-based movie. That would have cost us like an extra $70,000.
Wow.
To go IATSE. It would have cost us $70,000 in what we had to pay to the unions, to the union. So over $70,000. It was like an enormous amount of money. It was our trip to Guatemala. Most of our like we had to get a whole crew to Guatemala. That was another reason we had to forego it, because like if we get involved with the union, then the union's like, you're doing what? You're going to a country? Oh, that's a whole new thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then it's just like, and then it was like, that was like a whole pile of money.
Yeah, it's probably.
So there's like, unions are just really difficult. But if you don't, you can definitely put your people at risk who are in unions if you're not abiding by union rules, or you're exposing them to breaking the rules. And yeah.
In the chat.
Yeah.
Sylvia Leon said, sorry guys, but you were talking nonsense. It's obvious that you were taking Blake's side. I'm glad it's obvious.
It should be.
I don't want anyone to mistake me for a Baldoni fan.
No, I am not. I am not taking that guy's side.
You can make that assumption.
That's a sinking ship right there.
I just watched 2 minutes and no more. Get more info and then you can talk about this. Bye forever. And then a bunch of our regulars here said, Phil Baumling said bye with an exclamation point. Lee was like, goodbye.
Oh, I was saying goodbye, Phil Baumling, when I saw that. I didn't realize it was too. That's hilarious.
Erica said, bye. I hope you learned to think critically.
Yeah, it's so weird, eh? Like they're around for 2 minutes. Like that's how much you can handle of like opposing thoughts.
Well, yeah. So that's the confirmation bias. If we're not confirming what they already believe, they don't want to hear it. Well,
the confirmation bias, isn't that a little bit different? I thought the confirmation bias was that you're confirming yourself through your bias things. Like, so if you say something like I'll twist things. It's like, for example, a confirmation bias would be like these recent texts that got dropped, all this recent correspondence. A lot of people are like, see, there it is. There, he's saying it right there. She took over the movie. She's bullying him. It's all there. Confirmation bias.
When he told his friends, I feel like my film is being taken hostage, everyone's like, see?
Yeah.
She took it hostage. He's just...
That's just him being dramatic and saying what he's saying.
Soliciting sympathy by being hyperbolic. But no, you're right. Confirmation bias is both of those things.
Yeah, okay.
So it's that you will cherry pick new information and only accept the information that already confirms what you previously believed.
Yeah.
It's a real problem, and I think that it's important for everybody to recognize that not a single one of us is able to completely avoid confirmation bias. I think it's just like a human nature type thing. People will come into the chat and be like, oh, you guys are so biased. I'm like, yeah, humans are biased.
Yeah, if you look through two eyeballs, if you think with a single brain, you are biased. It is not
A
possible
single
for you.
brain?
Yeah, in other words, you're
If you're not a dolphin.
or
Because
conjoined.
dolphins have 2 brains.
Or
Did you
you're
know that?
conjoined. Do they? That's handy.
Well, they have 1 brain, but it's split in the middle.
On second thought,
Did you know that dolphins sleep with 1 brain at a time?
so what's the other brain doing?
Keeping them afloat so that they can breathe.
I thought maybe like humming you something like your favorite song or something.
No, it's like they can't fully sleep because they'll drown.
So they need 2 brains, one to keep them alive and the other
No. I'm saying
rest?
like half the brain sleeps and the other half is like on guard duty to make sure that they're still alive.
That's neat.
And then the other half will sleep, and then the one that had gotten rest keeps them breathing. Dolphins.
I mean, they're amazing creatures. I like watching them jump out of the water. Any more comments, or are you done?
Nope, we're all cut up.
We're all caught up.
I mean, there's probably some back there. Oh, a lot of people were talking about your book. Let's see if I can find these.
Really?
Yes.
And you don't want to talk about that, huh? That's interesting.
That's very
You want to talk
interesting.
about why you don't want to talk about that? I have to turn up the air conditioning. You're like,
you're
but you're
gonna
wearing a beanie, Dale.
You're going to scooch?
But I'm just like too hot.
Erica said, we're the Wheaties.
We're the Wheaties? No. You're the real ones.
You guys are the real ones.
Oh my God, it's 78 degrees. You guys are the real ones.
Fuzzy said, LOL Wheaties. What about Angela?
Exactly.
Way to exclude me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think this ain't my show. It's your show. No, it's the Dale
I
Wheatley
guess
show.
if we're married, then we're both the Wheaties.
You know, why can't I be your last name?
Fuzzy said, what is really sad is that Justin's podcast had amazing guests and was my favorite podcast. I even bought his book.
That's super sad.
That's super sad.
You know, it's like fallen heroes, man. It's just awful.
Oh, Fuzzy, great question. Why do you think that Blake hasn't subpoenaed Sony for the HR complaints?
Well, she probably already has them. But even if she doesn't, it may come. I don't know. That is a curious.
That is a
she
good
must have
question.
them. She must have them.
We know that Sony was very, very grateful to Blake, and she has included in her amended complaint, she included a bunch of text messages that Sony sent, just like being very verbose in their gratitude and congratulations for her and the work that they accomplished together. So it could be that Sony is just like willingly providing her with information without the need for a subpoena. You know, isn't that true? Like, would they need to have like some sort of official subpoena in order to turn over documents, or can they
No.
just like hand their friend the document that they want?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they want to be subpoenaed so that they're being impartial.
Oh, I see.
But you know, she's a producer on the movie. She could say, "Hey, can I have these?" And they would be like, "It's part of the production file." They'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem." So the only time that they necessarily, you know, and that may be true for both sides. In other words,
That's what I was thinking just
Yeah.
now. Why do you think Blake hasn't subpoenaed Sony for the HR complaints? My biggest question is why hadn't Justin subpoenaed Sony? Because apparently they made the decision to let Blake lead the theatrical cut. So if he has like major beef with them, he would certainly want to know their decision-making process for that and make sure that it isn't like just a personal vendetta against him. But just like you just said, maybe he already has those documents, because I can't imagine that Sony would try and like play keep away with information that these litigants need, right?
Sony's probably not going to keep. They're not going to play keep away with information that belongs to the production.
Right.
So they're going to make that available to all parties. They probably have a database that both Wayfair and then eventually Blake Lively as a producer might have had access to. That's entirely possible as well.
Shannon Knows said, this is really funny. He said, "Hi, sorry I'm late. Can you start over?"
That's fantastic. Just start over. Thanks. Have a great.
I just got here. I know you guys didn't notice, but I'm here now. So
Sorry, hour late. Just go ahead. Start over.
from the top.
From the top. And you know how much I like that intro song. You know, that was Sylvia Leon that said that. Said that 2 minutes and she's out. And every time I see women siding with him, I get sad. Like when it's women, like, you know, dudes, you know, whatever, you know.
Oh, that might not be a woman.
Well, Sylvia?
Yeah, but the last name is Leon. Maybe that's the first name.
Leon Sylvia?
Maybe. See, you don't know.
I don't know anything.
But yeah, it is a little bit. It's interesting because the publicists were sharing that. They're like, it's kind of sad to see how everybody's so eager to hate on a woman. Anyway, back to work. Back to work on the smear campaign against Blake Lively.
Feldbaumling says, are you surprised that Sony didn't make some sort of statement about the promotional contract while Lively was getting trashed on social media? No, I'm not, actually. I think that...
Why should they? She has the... Baldoni even included their Sony's guidelines for the promotion. It's clear. It's written so clearly. They must be so flabbergasted that everybody's too stupid to read that and share it with people, and everybody just believes that like Baldoni and Lively invented it.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody, people have talked about like, Blake Lively's friends not stepping up and all this nonsense. I just think everyone's going to stay the fuck out of this. Like, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I'd stay the fuck out of this. I'd be like, let me know if you need me. And that's where I'd be like, with regards to this side I'm taking, I'd be like, let me know if you need me. But that's it.
Delicate said Taylor Swift is a menace to society. Did you see people who are sharing that she tapped a little Morse code on Travis's shoulder? And everybody had to go sleuthing and like figure out how to read. Everybody learned how to read Morse code real quick. And apparently she tapped her initials.
Did she really?
Yes. But she put her hand very obviously on his shoulder, like draped it on his shoulder.
And she went,
No. And she just like moved her thumb, but she was looking direct into the camera when she was doing it, like very clearly being like, I'm communicating with you, like in a hostage situation or something.
Weird.
It's really funny. So like, I was like, oh, what a cute Easter egg, but she couldn't have been more obvious about it.
I cut a pretty good little video from one of our lives on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce bit. So hopefully I'm gonna publish that tomorrow. We'll see.
Do you think that that Taylor Swift is a menace to society?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a menace to. Yes.
Her private jet is a menace to society. That's
yeah. That jet can be a costly.
Delicate said she is a chaos agent. LOL.
I just love her. I can't help myself. It just happened. I got bit by the Swiftie bug. But she's just so fucking talented and so fun to listen to. And man, I was listening to her today and I was just having a party. Man, I love that folklore album.
Lee said, I'm reading the book. It's great. And I don't know whether Lee is talking about your book or It Ends With Us.
If you're talking about my book, awesome. I'm glad you're loving it. If you're not talking about my book, oh, cool, man.
I am not loving. Maybe I'm not like a fan of the romance.
Yeah, it's
genre.
probably just not your genre. Because that book was like through the roof. It's not my genre. I feel like
there's ways to describe things that are a little bit better than. I don't know. It kind of takes me out. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. This is a sex scene. I don't think I've read many of those because I don't read romance novels. And then she goes into it, and I'm like, is it supposed to be like this? This is bad.
Well, I've like a lot of thinking about writing, because I wrote this book and I've been writing my whole life, but I've never written a book before. Now that I have, I'm like, wow, I could bang out my fiction and I feel confident that I could. And so I, just reading around and seeing like the self-publishing world, because I'm not really into the traditional publishing all that much. And people are telling me they're like, or just people talking in general about writing to the market.
Yeah.
And the market is romance, and it's like also like, well, it's kind of, yeah, like
spicy romance.
What do they call it? Dark romance or whatever?
There's dark romance. That's different. That has like I think that it has like some themes of abuse or even BDSM. I'm not really sure. But dark. Abuse, like possessiveness, like stalking type stuff sometimes.
Well, anyway,
I think
I can't write to market.
There's also like really spicy romance, which is apparently just really like very descriptive, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I can't write to market.
You can't? Why?
Because I can't possibly write that stuff.
I don't know how anybody
it's
writes
not
a sex
for me.
scene.
I can't write it. I can't write the pressing of the lips, and I can't get into the thrusts and the like. I can't do it. I can't do that. Like apologetic thrusting or whatever.
Yeah,
like you read
I brought
something
Dale
just,
that phrase today. I could not believe that she said that in the book It Ends With Us that that they have like makeup sex after an abusive event.
Yeah.
And that he did apologetic thrusts was how she described it. And I brought it to Dale and I was like, can you tell me what that is?
Frightening. Yeah, we can discuss the book. Guilty Angel asked if we can discuss the book. I'm like, yeah, man. Tell me what you want to say.
I find it's difficult to think about how to discuss the book because there's such heavy themes. And I don't actually know much about like DV and DV advocacy and like...
I think she was talking about my book, but yeah.
Your book?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But maybe not. Maybe she was talking about that book. I haven't read that book, so I can't discuss it, and I don't know that I'm going to read it.
You're not going to read It Ends With Us?
I don't think so.
I think it's fine if you skip it.
I think I'm going to skip it.
I'm reading the audiobook, so I guess it's not really reading.
So that Norwegian prince has officially been charged with raping 4 women.
To the dungeon.
He looks like a Joffrey, too. Did you see him?
Yes, he does look like a Joffrey.
He looks like the most disturbing individual.
Horrible.
Well, I'm glad. I hope he, if guilty, and it seems he is, but if proven guilty, I hope he goes away for the rest of his life.
Oh, here's some other news about Justin Baldoni lost a little today in court. Okay, so Judge Lyman has denied Wayfarer's motion to quash.
Yes, I forgot to bring this up.
So Blake Lively subpoenaed the Harco Insurance Company.
Yeah.
I guess she wants to know what he told them about her
about her
HR complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're claiming that they were not informed. And if they weren't informed and after the fact, which is according to the
it's really interesting
underwriting, I guess, according to the contract, that they're supposed to report it, they didn't.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So apparently Wayfarer tried to quash her subpoena to the insurance company and the judge denied it simply because he's like, you can't do that. Like they can file a motion to quash, like they can reject her subpoena, but you as a different party, like you can't tell her what she can or can't get from the insurance company you're not a part of.
No.
Yeah.
Of course not.
And so that's why everybody's saying it's a big loss, but it's just like, I don't even know why they tried it. It's not like they just made a really foolish argument. It's not like Judge Lyman is like taking sides or anything.
Yeah.
Know?
I saw somebody say that, they found us that we must be like the second channel on YouTube supporting Blake Lively. And like, who's the other one? Somebody said ex-patriarch.
Oh yeah. Well, there's him. And there's also, I don't know. He's on YouTube, right?
I don't know. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
There's also Recap with Julie. She's great.
Yep.
She does she's really good at editing. She has she shows everybody all the documents and stuff. I think that's super important because there's only one side of this conflict. I feel like where they're just like going on vibes, you know, like they'll say that Blake Lively did all this stuff and they don't ever feel like they have to show any evidence for it. And us over here, we're like, if you look at line 50, you can read very clearly. Do you have anything else?
I don't really have much else here. Let's see if I got some save stuff for you guys.
Oh, okay. Guilty Angel said, your book. Dale, can we discuss some of the book or not right now?
Yeah, please. Absolutely.
Guilty Angel said, apologetic thrusts? Yes.
That's so gross.
That's what she wrote. I was trying to imagine, like, what am I supposed to picture here, lady?
So one of the things I read was that Mila Kunis spoke about Black Swan, and she wasn't eaten for that role.
Of course they weren't eating.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Can you imagine? Like,
have you seen them? Like, of course.
Oh my God. And then she also talked about having like bruises all over her ribs from the dancing.
Oh yeah, of course.
God, they like.
Have you ever seen the real pictures of like ballerina body parts?
Well, I thought that's what he was shooting.
Like ballerina, yeah.
I didn't think it was hers. I thought it was like, these dancers that. So no, I haven't, but.
Oh, I mean, they just have to get like lifted by their rib cage, like by their hips, but they just grab their ribs and they just, so like the actors would have to do that. They wouldn't have to like learn how to be like professional ballerinas. That they have stunt doubles for that. Not stunt doubles, but body doubles, I guess. But have you ever seen like actual ballerinas, like their feet and their legs and everything? They're always like, They look like they've been through war.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Erica said ballet is actually really hard on the body, especially their feet. Oh, Guilty Angel said Ofi Doki channel is really good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I like her. She's adorable. I have a hard time sticking. My attention span is garbage. So she'll start her stream and then she'll get snacks and then she'll like talk to other people and like she's just all in the chat before she gets started.
That's funny.
I have to do a better job of just like fast forwarding.
Yeah,
Do we do that?
sometimes I think
Do we spend too much time like screwing around?
Yep. Well, I think I'm gonna pack it up early.
You have a headache?
I do. I've been struggling quite a bit here with a bad headache. So listen, guys, thanks for coming out tonight.
It was fun.
We will be back tomorrow. I had a great time. And yeah, man, we will be back tomorrow. Sorry, I'm cutting a little early, but I've had a headache for like 6 days and I got to get out of the bright lights.
That's okay.
Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.